My dad sold the family home and handed my brother $500,000, then appeared on my doorstep with suitcases after my golden boy brother gambled it all away and changed his number. Let's make this moment special. Subscribe if you believe in stories like this and tell us your city in the comments below. I was elbow deep in flour, teaching my daughter Imani how to make my grandmother's sweet potato pie, when my phone buzzed. Dad's name flashed across the screen. I almost didn't answer. Lately our conversations had become strained, always circling back to Patrick, my older brother, and his incredible business opportunities. But something told me to pick up. "Shayla, baby girl, I need to tell you something." Dad's voice cracked with what I thought was emotion. My chest tightened. Was he sick? I sold the house. The wooden spoon slipped from my fingers, clattering against the counter. What house? But I knew. I already knew. The family home. Your mama's house. The house where mama had died 3 years ago, where we'd scattered her ashes in the garden she tended for 23 years. The house that held every Christmas morning, every birthday cake, every scraped knee and heartbreak I'd survived. Dad, that house was supposed to, we talked about this. You said you'd never sell. My voice came out strangled. Imani looked up at me, her 7-year-old eyes wide with concern. Patrick needed help with his investment firm. He's doing real big things, Shay. This is his moment. I gave him the money to expand, $500,000. Your brother's gonna take care of us all now. The words hit me like a physical blow. $500,000. To Patrick. The brother who'd borrowed $3,000 from me 2 years ago for business expenses, and never paid it back. I stood there, phone pressed to my ear, remembering. Patrick had always been the golden child. 6 feet 3 inches, charming smile, could talk his way out of anything. When we were kids, he'd stolen $20 from Mama's purse and somehow convinced her I'd misplaced it. I was grounded for a week. You didn't even ask me, I whispered. That house was Mama's legacy. To both of us. Patrick is making something of himself. You got your nursing degree, you're stable with Kenneth. Your brother needs this chance. Dad's tone shifted, defensive now. Besides, the house was in my name. Mama left it to me. Because she trusted you to do right by both your children. My hands shook as I gripped the counter. Imani had stopped pretending to mix the dough, watching me with those perceptive eyes that saw too much. I am doing right. Patrick is going to triple this investment in 6 months. He's got connections, real investors interested. This is generational wealth we're talking about. I'd heard this song before. Patrick's connections had lost Dad $10,000 in a cryptocurrency scheme last year. His sure-thing real estate flip had fallen through, taking Dad's retirement bonus with it. But pointing this out would make me the bitter little sister who couldn't celebrate her brother's success. When did you sell it? My voice came out flat now, emotionless. Protection mode. Closed escrow yesterday. Patrick picked up the check this morning. Gone. Just like that. Mama's garden, my childhood bedroom with the growth marks on the doorframe, the kitchen where she taught me to cook, all gone. I called Patrick immediately after hanging up with Dad. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. And again. On the 4th attempt, his girlfriend Bonnie answered, her voice thick with attitude I'd never understood. Shay, Patrick is in a meeting. Important business stuff, you know how it is. Bonnie, I need to talk to my brother. Right now. Girl, I just told you. Put. The. Four. Pause. Muffled voices. Then Patrick's smooth baritone filled my ear. Sis. I was gonna call you. Big news, right? Dad came through for me. This is going to change everything for the family. You convinced our 70-year-old father to sell Mama's house. I kept my voice level, aware that Imani was listening. The house she left for both of us. Technically, she left it to Dad. And he made a business decision. A smart one. That casual tone, like he was explaining why he'd chosen one restaurant over another. Look, I know you're emotional about it. You always were the sentimental one, but this is about securing our future. Our future? When exactly do I see any return on this investment? That's not how this works, Shay. I need capital to grow the firm. Once we're established, once the money's flowing, everybody eats. You think small. That's always been your problem. Think small. I work 60-hour weeks at the hospital, raising my daughter, paying my mortgage, building actual stability. But sure, I think small. Kenneth found me that night sitting in our backyard staring at nothing. My husband of 9 years knew my silences. He pulled up a chair, didn't speak, just waited. He's going to lose it all, I finally said. I can feel it. You don't know that. But Kenneth's voice lacked conviction. He'd witnessed Patrick's track record too. The failed business ventures, the borrowed money never returned, the elaborate stories that never quite added up. Remember Mama's funeral? I turned to face him. Patrick promised he'd help with the costs. We split everything, he said. I paid $14,000 out of our savings. He paid zero. Said the money got tied up in a deal. Kenneth reached for my hand. Your dad's a grown man. He made his choice. A choice based on lies. Patrick is good at making his scams sound like opportunities. Always has been. I felt tears burning behind my eyes but refused to let them fall. That house was supposed to be our safety net. If something happened to Dad, we'd have had somewhere to go, something to fall back on. Now we have Patrick's promises, and his promises aren't worth the breath he uses to make them. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Asterisk, stop harassing your brother. Let him work. Asterisk. I hadn't realized Patrick had run crying to Daddy already. Classic golden boy move. Do whatever you want, then play victim when anyone questions it. Summer turned to fall. Patrick's Instagram showed a new lifestyle. Designer clothes, expensive restaurants, a leased BMW. Building the brand, his captions read. Success looks good on me. I stopped following him after the post of him at a Cancun resort, cocktail in hand, captioned business trips hit different. Dad called weekly, always with updates. Patrick is meeting with major investors. The firm's about to close a huge deal. Your brother's going to be featured in a business magazine. Each call ended with some version of "You'll see, Shayla. You'll see." I said nothing. What was there to say? The house was sold, the money was gone, and my opinion had never mattered anyway. Then the calls from Dad stopped. Week 1 I thought he was busy. Week 2 I got worried and called him. Straight to voicemail. Week 3 I drove to his apartment across town. He looked terrible. Dad had always been a big man, barrel-chested and solid, but now he seemed diminished, his shirt hanging loose on a frame that had lost 20 pounds. His apartment was dark, curtains drawn against the afternoon sun. Dad? What's going on? I've been calling. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Everything's fine. Just been under the weather. Where's Patrick? Is he helping you? Dad's jaw tightened. Your brother's busy. Big things happening with the firm. Can't expect him to, he's got responsibilities. But something in his voice told me everything I needed to know. I found out the truth from Bonnie, of all people. She called me crying at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Shay, I don't know what to do. Patrick is. Something's wrong. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. What happened? He's been going to casinos. Not like once or twice. Every night. Atlantic City sometimes. He comes back at dawn, and when I ask about the money he gets angry. Says he's investing it, but I saw the casino receipts. He's lost so much. The BMW got repossessed last week. My blood ran cold. How much has he lost? I don't know exactly. But yesterday some men came to the apartment. They weren't nice. Patrick owes them money, a lot of money. He sold his Rolex, his laptop, everything valuable. He's been avoiding your dad's calls. So that's why Dad had gone silent. He'd figured it out. Bonnie, you need to leave him. If he's in deep with the wrong people. I already did. I'm at my sister's. But Shay, your dad gave him $500,000. What if it's all gone? After I hung up, I sat in the darkness of my bedroom, Kenneth's steady breathing beside me. I should have felt vindicated. I'd been right about Patrick all along. But all I felt was sick. That money could have secured Dad's retirement, paid for Imani's college, been something real. Instead it was gone. Gambled away by my brother's addiction and ego. I confronted Dad the next morning. Showed up at his apartment with coffee and the truth I'd learned from Bonnie. He didn't even try to deny it. I haven't heard from Patrick in 3 weeks, Dad admitted, his voice breaking. His phone's disconnected. The business office I visited, it was just a rented executive suite, empty. No employees, no firm, nothing. How much is left? I asked, though I already knew. Nothing. It's all gone, Shayla. $500,000. He covered his face with his hands. Your mama's house. Everything she worked for. I gave it to him and I wanted to scream. I wanted to say I told you so until my voice gave out. But looking at my father, this man who'd chosen his son over his daughter, favoritism over fairness, I saw something that stopped me. He wasn't just broke. He was broken. What are you going to do? I asked quietly. I got first and last month's rent paid here through December. After that, he shrugged, a gesture of defeat I'd never seen from him before. I got my Social Security. I'll figure something out. And Patrick. If I ever see that boy again. Dad's voice turned hard. He's dead to me. You hear me? Dead. But I knew better. Patrick would come back with another story, another excuse, and Dad would fold. That's how it always worked. I left without offering help. Maybe that makes me cruel. But I'd learned from Mama. You can't save people who won't save themselves. 2 months later, on a freezing December evening, someone knocked on my door. I was helping Imani with her homework, Christmas tree twinkling in the corner. Kenneth was working a late shift. I opened the door expecting a package delivery. Dad stood on my porch, 2 battered suitcases at his feet. Hey baby girl, he said, and I saw it all in his face. The eviction notice, the exhausted desperation, the assumption that I'd let him in because that's what good daughters do. What are you doing here, Dad? I got nowhere else to go. Lost the apartment. Thought maybe I could stay with you and Kenneth for a bit. Just until I get back on my feet. I felt Imani come up behind me, felt her small hand slip into mine. Mom? Who is it? It's Grandpa, baby. Go finish your homework. I waited until she was gone before I spoke again. You thought you could show up here with no warning, no phone call, and I'd just take you in? You're my daughter. And you're the father who chose Patrick over me. Every single time. My voice shook, but not with tears. With rage. You sold Mama's house without asking me. You gave away our legacy to a gambling addict because he was your precious son who could do no wrong. Shay, I know I messed up. Where's Patrick, Dad? Have you tried his door? Dad's face crumpled. Patrick changed his number. Moved out of his apartment, didn't leave a forwarding address. Bonnie said he might be in Nevada, but she's not sure. I went to some of his old hangouts. Nobody's seen him. He's gone, Shay. Took the money and disappeared. So your golden boy ran away and now you need the daughter you ignored. I crossed my arms. Did you ever think about what you did to me? That house was my inheritance too. Mama told me stories in that kitchen. She taught me her recipes, her wisdom, everything that mattered. And you erased it all for Patrick. I thought he'd really made it this time. He showed me business plans, investor letters. Fake. It was all fake. And you know what the worst part is? I told you. I warned you and you called me jealous. You said I was trying to hold Patrick back because I couldn't stand his success. Dad's shoulders sagged. You're right. About all of it. I was a fool. Behind me, I heard Kenneth's truck pull into the driveway. Perfect timing. My husband came up the walk, took in the scene, and I saw his jaw tighten. Mr. Graham, Kenneth said carefully. This is unexpected. He needs a place to stay, I said flatly. Got evicted. Kenneth looked at me, and in that look was a question. What do you want to do? Thought about Mama. What would she say? She taught me to honor my father, to show grace. But she'd also taught me about self-respect and boundaries. Dad, you can't stay here. The words came out firm, clear. I love you, but I won't enable the same behavior you showed Patrick. You made your choice, and choices have consequences. Shayla, please. It's freezing. I'm your father. You were also Mama's husband. Did you honor her memory when you sold her house? Did you think about what she'd want? Kenneth stood beside me now, a united front. Mr. Graham, there's a extended stay America on Route 40. It's affordable. We can give you the number. Dad's face went from pleading to angry. So that's it? You're going to turn your back on me? Your own father. Like you turned your back on me every time Patrick needed something? My voice rose. Like you turned your back on Mama's wishes? On common sense. On basic fairness. I made a mistake. You made a choice. You chose Patrick over me my entire life. When I graduated nursing school with honors, you missed the ceremony because Patrick had a business dinner. When Imani was born, you stayed 2 hours at the hospital because Patrick needed help moving. Every birthday, every milestone, every moment I needed you, Patrick came first. The words poured out, years of accumulated hurt spilling over. And now, when your golden boy has taken everything and run, you want me to save you. To be the good daughter who asks no questions and makes no demands. Dad stood there, snow beginning to fall around him, and I saw the moment he realized I meant it. I'll help you, I continued, and I saw hope flash in his eyes. But not the way you want. I'll give you $2,000. Enough for 3 months at an extended stay hotel if you budget right. I'll help you apply for senior housing. I'll drive you to food banks and connect you with social services. But you're not moving in, and I'm not becoming your retirement plan. That's cold, Shayla. Real cold. No, Dad. What's cold is giving away your daughter's inheritance without a conversation. What's cold is enabling your son's addiction until he destroyed himself and took you down with him. What's cold is showing up here expecting me to fix your mistakes. Kenneth pulled out his phone. I'm booking you a room for tonight, Mr. Graham. Climate-controlled, clean, safe. Tomorrow, Shayla and I will meet you there and help you make a plan. But this, showing up unannounced expecting to be rescued, that's not how this works. I watched my father's face cycle through emotions. Anger, disbelief, resignation. Finally he nodded. Fine. I'll go to the hotel. Dad, I said softer now. I love you. But I learned something from watching you and Patrick. Love without boundaries isn't love. It's enabling. And I won't do it. Not to you, not to anyone. He picked up his suitcases and Kenneth helped him load them into our car. As Kenneth drove Dad to the hotel, I stood on the porch, watching the taillights disappear into the snowy night. Imani appeared beside me. Is Grandpa okay? He will be, I said, pulling her close. Sometimes people have to face consequences before they can heal. 3 days later, I sat across from Dad in the hotel's breakfast area, a folder of information between us. Applications for senior housing, food assistance programs, Job listings for part-time work suitable for a 70-year-old. He looked smaller somehow, the fight gone out of him. There's a senior community in Riverside, I explained. Subsidized apartments based on income. You'd qualify. It's clean, safe, has activities. You could build a life there. This is really happening, he said quietly. I really lost everything. You lost money in a house. You didn't lose everything. I pushed a document across the table. This is a number for a therapist who specializes in family dynamics and enabling behaviors. I think you should talk to someone about why you made the choices you made with Patrick. I don't need therapy. I need my son to give back my money. Dad, that money's gone. Patrick is gone. You can spend the rest of your life waiting for him to make it right, or you can start rebuilding now. Your choice. He stared at the papers and I saw him wrestling with reality. The golden boy fantasy was dead, but accepting that meant accepting his own culpability. Why are you helping me? He finally asked. After everything I did? Because you're my father. And because I'm not Patrick, I don't abandon people when things get hard. But understand this. I'm helping you stand up, not carrying you. There's a difference. Over the next 2 weeks, Dad moved into the senior community. I helped him set up his small apartment, donated some furniture, showed him how to use the bus system. He started attending the community activities, and slowly, I saw glimpses of the man he'd been before Patrick consumed his common sense. 6 months passed. Dad settled into his new life. Part-time job at the community center, friends in the building, routines that gave him purpose. He came to Sunday dinners at our house, played with Imani, and slowly we rebuilt something I'd thought was destroyed. One evening as he was leaving, he stopped on the porch. I heard from Patrick. My heart clenched. What did he say? He's in Las Vegas. Still gambling. Wanted money for one more big score. Dad's laugh was bitter. I told him I had nothing to give. He hung up. That was 2 months ago. Haven't heard from him since. I'm sorry, Dad. Don't be. I see it now, what I did to him, to you, to our family. Your mama tried to tell me. Said I was making Patrick weak by always rescuing him. I thought I was being a good father. I was just being a fool. I hugged him and he held on tight. I can't undo what I did, Shayla. Can't bring back your mama's house or the money. But I want you to know I see you now. Really see you. You're the strong one. Always were. After he left, Kenneth found me in the kitchen. You did good, he said. With your dad, with the boundaries. Monty's watching. She's learning what self-respect looks like. I looked at our daughter, asleep on the couch, her face peaceful in the lamplight. She'd never have to beg for attention from a parent who couldn't see past favoritism. She'd know her worth because I'd shown her mine. The story could end with bitterness, with permanent estrangement, with me refusing to forgive. But forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about releasing the poison. Dad faced his consequences. He lost his golden boy, his money, his house. But he gained something more valuable: clarity. As for Patrick, somewhere in Nevada or wherever he'd landed, he was still running. Still chasing that next big score, that validation he'd never find at a poker table. I didn't hate him. I pitied him. He'd won our father's favoritism and lost everything that mattered. I'd chosen differently. Chosen boundaries over enabling, self-respect over desperate approval. And in that choice I'd found something Patrick never would: peace. Mama would be proud.